In a significant development, the Indian Navy has fast-tracked its case for acquisition of 26 carrier-borne fighters and has announced that it would prefer a government-to-government deal, but in the long term it would prefer the indigenous TEDBF to meet all requirements. The shore-based tests have already been conducted by the two competitors Rafale and F/A-18, and telemetry data from the two competitors is still awaited, following which a technical evaluation would be completed by the Navy in the next few months, after which the government will proceed with an intergovernmental agreement. The Indian Army has issued an acceptance of necessity for wheeled armored fighting vehicle platform and anti-tank guided missile. The indigenously designed, developed and built prototypes of wheeled armored fighting vehicle must have at least 50% indigenous content, and field evaluation trials will start within 36 months from the issue of request for proposal. The Kestrel combat wheeled armored amphibious platform developed by Tata Motors is seen as the front-runner, that features a Kongsberg protected 30mm turret and M151 remote weapon station, which is armed with a 12.7mm machine gun and the 84 Spigot anti-tank missile system. The Swift UCAV recently completed its first flight, and the Aeronautical Development Establishment plans to conduct 10 more test flights of the Swift, that will include flight tests with the vertical stabilizer and without the stabilizer. After completion of all flight tests, the Aeronautical Development Establishment will prepare a detailed proposal for the development of the 13-ton Indian Strike Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, that will be powered by dry cavalry engine, which will complete certification by 2024 and enter production in 2026. The Aeronautical Development Establishment and the Indian Air Force plan to jointly work out an agreeable configuration, so that the Indian Strike Unmanned Aerial Vehicle can become reality by 2030. A high-level delegation of SAFRAN Group led by its CEO Olivier Andrews met with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, during which SAFRAN has briefed about its plans to set up a maintenance, repair and overhaul facility in Hyderabad for LEAP 1A and LEAP 1B engines. The CEO also briefed about the plan to inaugurate SAFRAN aircraft engines in Hyderabad this week, that will produce parts and components for advanced aircraft engines including rotating seals. SAFRAN Electrical and Power India Limited will also be inaugurated in Hyderabad, that will produce harness for civil and fighter jets. SAFRAN HAL Aircraft Engines joint venture will also come up in Bengaluru for production of rigid piping for engines for fighter jets and helicopters. The DRDO chief has said that it is developing a dedicated small turbofan engine for UAVs, for which the design validation tests have been completed on ground and is presently undergoing experimental flight trials. On successful completion of flight trials, derivatives of these engines will be manufactured for a variety of unmanned aerial vehicle applications. The Indian Army has released a tender for the procurement of 29,762 night sights along with accessories from Indian firms for its American Sig-716 rifles that were inducted in 2020. The night sights must have a minimum detection range of 600 meters for a single walking person and a minimum 500-meter range for a standing person. The product offered by Indian firms should have at least 50% indigenous content, and in this open tender, the Bangalore-based private sector firm Tunbo Imaging is the front-runner, which had previously delivered sights to Indian Army and also exported to Israeli and French Special Forces. The long-pending plan to upgrade the IL-76 fleet of the Indian Air Force with new communication and navigation suite avionics and engine has now been dropped indefinitely, as both India and Russia are unlikely to come together to undertake the work, mainly due to the situation in Eastern Europe. Indian Air Force operates a fleet of 14 IL-76MD and 6 IL-78MKI that are in dire need of upgrades, and the disturbed supply chain already has grounded some of the aircraft.